Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. This is CodeOp's Get into Tech webinar. I'm going to give it a couple minutes to let folks roll in. I'm also going to start the video. Give me 1 second. Great. Okay. Cool. Okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to share in the chat a link. And this link has an anonymous poll that I would love for you all to contribute to. So here is the link. I'm going to share my screen and take you to this will also help. You can log in through your phone. Lido. Cool. So the first question I want to ask you all, where are you based right now? So I'm interested in getting a sense of our audience. Where are you based out of right now? So as soon as you're logged in, you can, okay, great. You all got it down, fantastic. Netherlands, London, UK, cool. Keep it coming, Geneva, the Netherlands, Berlin, Ireland, awesome. Jeddah, cool. Barcelona, represent. Folks, if you're joining us, we're just sharing where we're based out of right now to get a sense of our audience. The Netherlands, okay. South Africa, cool. Estonia, awesome. I see things moving. Okay, I think the Netherlands is just getting bigger. Barcelona is getting bigger. What do we have in the chat here? England, cool. UK, France, Alicante, very specific. Cool. Okay. Next question. The first word that comes to mind when you think of engineering and tech. It's the first word that comes to mind when you think of engineering and tech. Unfiltered challenge maths. I love this one. Logic. Remote job. Building, coding, maths. Building sites and projects, maths, logic, nerdy, thank you. Logic, challenge, problem solving, intimidating. Wow, I'm really excited about this world. I've been doing this event for 5 years and it's changed what people think about when they're thinking about engineering and tech. So, okay, freedom, remote job, challenging, problem solving, building, daunting, intimidating, coding, maths, building. We have one more person typing. Creativity, absolutely. Cool. And that's helpful. Logic. And so the first two words that come to mind when you think of engineering and tech is logic and challenge. Bravo. Okay. In the past, we've gotten like men, white dudes, certainly nerds. I'm really happy to see that all the work that many organizations like CodeOp have been doing to dispel the myths and make folks understand that there is a lot of creativity, not a lot of math, certainly logic, and it's challenging and it's fun. Cool. Okay, last question. How old are you? I'm 39. I'll start. 39. Ah, beautiful. Okay, 31, 34, 30, 34, 46, fantastic. 43, 38, 28. Keep it coming. 46. Great, it's growing. 39, 30. Cool. Yeah, so this is a question that often comes up. Am I too old to get into tech? And the short answer is no. The average age of our students is actually 32. That's our sweet spot. However, our students range in age from 18 to I think 56 has been our oldest student. Okay, fun. So that was a little exercise to get ourselves acquainted with the audience. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. Yeah, okay, cool. And go back here. All right, awesome. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. Welcome, our listeners and our guests joining us tonight. We have Tao Feng, originally from China, based in Barcelona. We have Elena Droquina, originally from Spain and currently in Spain. We have Olivia Michael, originally from the United States, now in Spain. And we have Irene Kulikova, originally from Armenia, but currently based in the Netherlands. Cool. Welcome. Thanks for taking the time to do this. So my name is Katrina Walker. I am the CEO and founder of CodeOp. For those of you who do not know CodeOp, we're an international tech school for women, trans, and non-binary people. We help companies, organizations, and governments help address the gender disparity in tech, which we know firsthand is a big problem, a chronic problem worldwide. So that's what we're focused on. That's what we specialize. We have different programs, but our main program is full stack development and data science. Everyone that you've talked to tonight did our full stack development bootcamp. They come from really diverse backgrounds. And so the intention of this webinar, always when we're creating the panelists, is to try to cast a wide net in terms of background, age, parenting, not parenting, what they were doing before the bootcamp and what they're doing now, to just show there is not one type of person who's transitioning into tech when they're 35. It's quite diverse. And so this is the main point. What else do I want to say? The order of operations for tonight is really simple. First, I'm going to ask the panelists to talk about what they were doing before they even started thinking about getting into tech, so we get a sense of what their background is. Then I want to have a conversation about why they decided to get into tech, what were the main drivers, what were the main fears. Then I want to talk about how they went about getting that technical education and what that was like. And then finally, what happened after the boot camp, right? Did they get that job? How did they get that job? Where are they working now? What kind of advice can they give the audience? Certainly, this is a space for you all. Feel free to ask any questions through the chat, through the Q&A feature here. I have a long laundry list of questions that I've asked them. I've talked with them before. I said this is not about endorsing CodeOp. My bias is to encourage you all to get into tech. I speak from personal experience. I think a technical education is something that you learn and it's never in vain. There's many different ways that you can apply it. Most importantly, it's very powerful, lucrative, can be very lucrative field. And I want diverse people part of that conversation and part of the field. So that is my bias. I'm putting the cards on the table. I really believe in the power of anecdotes. And so this is what this event is all about. Anecdotes, hearing the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's it. Yeah. Okay. So this is being recorded. Let's begin. No. So first, as mentioned, I want to know what you were doing before the bootcamp. Who were before you even decided to get in tech? What was life like? Olivia, let's start with you.
Hi, everyone. So for the past 10 years, I've been teaching primary level children in Spain. And yeah, I'd been doing that for the past 10 years, and that's what I studied, was primary education. And yeah, so that's just a little bit about my background.
Cool. And so what happened? How did tech get on your radar?
Well, actually, I had two really good friends go through the boot camp through CodeOp. And they both found, they were also teachers here in Spain, and they had successfully navigated the boot camp, had great things to say, and they had found jobs in the tech field. And it had been on my radar for a while, trying to switch out of education. I needed a change and a little bit more stability. So I started doing some like online some like coding introduction to coding courses, and I liked it. So I thought, maybe I could give this a go.
So it was your friends who planted the seed.
Yeah. And it would
Cool.
never have been on my radar.
Fascinating. Okay, cool. Elena, Mike is see tell me your age, what you were doing before, why you decided to get into tech.
So I'm 20, and when I finished high school, I took a gap year, not knowing what to do later, uni or what to study. It was so difficult for me. So meanwhile, in this year, I taught English to little kids, and the actual start of me thinking about tech was a movie. I'm being totally honest. It was a movie of how they made Facebook. I was like, can I do that? I want to do that. So I started learning some tech on my own and then enrolled. I was so happy.
Wow. Okay, cool. So we've got friends, we've got a movie. Tao, what were you doing before, and how did tech get on your radar?
Okay. You guys know I'm from China, so I came here because my ex. So I finished my master before the COVID. So the COVID started. I was looking for a career change, so I did a full stack course online. And after that, I don't feel confident to start a job. So I tried to looking for some job related marketing, sales as I worked in China. But I couldn't find some job really like. I was in Dubai. Yeah, I was looking for there. Then I thought, oh, it reminds me, why I don't do that full stack course in Barcelona in CodeOp, because I love better Barcelona than Dubai. I don't want to live in Dubai. Then I remember I joined the once CodeOp workshop.
Pre-coding
When
workshop.
I was doing my before I doing my master in Barcelona, so I started to contact Joanna, CodeOp. Then I decided, yes, this time I will do it.
Okay, so it sounds like it was a combination of not being able to find a job in your current industry, so wanting to transition to something else, and then discovering that through a free coding bootcamp that you liked coding.
Yeah, actually, I got some job offer, but I don't really like. I think I don't want to go back to do the same thing,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so I decided, okay, last opportunity. Give me a last opportunity last chance to do some change. Yeah.
Okay. And how old are you, Tal?
I'm 32.
You're 32. Okay. Irena, any of this resonating with you?
Well, yeah, I come from a very different background than the IT. So I studied law for my bachelor's and political science for my master's. So I literally knew nothing about the IT technologies when I joined the bootcamp. For my master's degree, I wrote a master thesis on the restricted websites and the restriction to access to the internet as a violation of human rights, because human rights was my personal interest as a law graduate. Just the more I kept reading about the blocked websites and the IT technologies, the more I became curious about how it all works. So then, yeah, I just started learning the JavaScript by myself, JavaScript and CSS and HTML. And then, well, while I was learning, I felt like my self-study was not very efficient. And then just one time I accidentally stumbled upon an interview of a CodeOp graduate. So we studied together at the university, and I just got inspired by her story that she did the bootcamp and she transitioned to tech.
Okay.
So I think
Wow,
I took
cool.
a year to, yeah.
Yes, okay. This is an interesting question. So, Irene, you were thinking about getting into tech for 1 year. How long were you thinking about getting into tech? Around
I
1
think
year.
I
Oh,
think
for
2
about
years. 2 years for
1 to
me.
2 years. Irene,
Yeah,
what were you saying?
because before the book, before my master, I was thinking I do a master or do a boot camp in CodeOp because I was in the CodeOp's workshop. Yeah, I at that time I would like to do both, but I found out that I cannot do both. The time schedule, it's I could not make it. Yeah.
Okay.
So
So 1 year, 2
two-
years.
yeah.
Elena, how long were you thinking about it?
About 1 year too.
1 year. Olivia, 1 week.
I'd say like it happened pretty quickly, like within
Yeah,
months.
good for you. Not wasting time.
Yeah, I tend to make pretty rash decisions. So yeah.
Okay, this is a question for our guest. In the chat, share, how long have you been thinking about getting into tech? I was thinking about it for over a year, definitely. Over a year. Let's see. We have a year, a year. Anyone else? How long have you been? A few months, a few years. All right, Vanessa, it's time to do it. 6 months, 5 years. Not successful. 10 years. Well, maybe 4 to 5 years, honestly. 15 years, 6 months, a year. What I say to folks is, if you've been thinking about it for a few months, definitely a year or years, I would honor that voice internally and go for it, because it's likely that something is there for you. No, I told you I was thinking about. I'm from San Francisco Bay Area. I was surrounded by tech, and I never really thought about getting into it until my late 20s, basically because I had a partner who was an engineer, and I was always kind of curious of what was happening on that black screen. Simultaneously, I was always bored with my work, always living paycheck to paycheck, and developed quite a bit of envy for all my friends who were working in technology, not just of the privilege that they had, the flexibility that they had, but that they were intellectually engaged. I always felt that I was quite literally just using a fraction of my brain, and that felt like a big loss. No, and so tech became an interesting, basically, it was sort of what I felt like I needed to do to really activate my mind, and so that's what I went after. Okay, so thanks for sharing. Okay, so we've been thinking about getting. So most of us have been thinking about getting into tech for a while. Olivia, she thinks about it for a little bit and she jumps into it. Olivia, let's start with you. So you're a parent. I imagine we have some parents who are listening in. What, and also I'm a first-time mom now. I have a 7-month-old, and every decision I make now implicates more than one person. So when you decided that you wanted to go after this, what were some of the things you had to consider?
Well, I was working. I had my son that year. So this was last year, yeah, that I did boot camp. I had him at the beginning of the year, and so I had to really think about, am I able to be a first-time mom and go back to work full-time and do a boot camp? So it definitely not a decision that I took lightly. But after working in education, education will always be my first love. I loved being a teacher. But the lack of stability where I was teaching here in Spain, and you know, not a great paycheck, and just having done that for 10 years, I so desperately wanted to just move into something more stable and lucrative. So it seemed doable. I definitely had a really supportive partner, and that helped a lot.
Yeah.
So it's doable. It was very challenging, though.
Yeah.
It was very, very challenging.
Yeah. Irena, so once you decided, so you heard this really great story from someone you went to university with. It was inspiring, and you thought, maybe there's something for me there. What really was the decision process? You tried coding to make sure that this was the right thing for you. You talked to different people who did a boot camp, or you checked out other boot camps. Tell me a little bit about the process once you decided that you wanted to pursue it.
Yeah, so
Sorry, Olivia, that's questions for Irena.
Sorry.
No problem.
Yeah, I actually I asked that girl about her experience at CodeOp, and then I did a few online courses in JavaScript and web design, like with the CSS. I did one course in computer programming, but that was hard one. That was a hard one. Yeah, I just kept doing the free online courses that I would find, but then I also had a full-time job at the same time, so I was always unsure whether I should pursue it full-time, the development, I mean. Yeah, and then just I don't know, one morning I woke up and I said to myself, I'm going to do this bootcamp. So I was thinking a lot about it, but it happened quite fast, like that decision that I made.
What were some of your fears about doing it? I know that when something that prevented me from doing it was first, the question of, do I have the mental capacity to learn this? Because my assumption was you needed to do a 4-year degree, study computer science, and be really savvy with mathematics to do this kind of work. Then when I started coding, I was like, okay, first of all, this is fun. There's no math so far. It's okay, I can start building something. But it's one thing to code, and then it's one thing to actually commit yourself to a bootcamp, which tends to be a big financial commitment. It's a time commitment. On top of that, you need to change, actually, you need to get a job, you need to transition into industry and a new function, which is also scary. And so from my perspective, I was really scared of failing. I was scared of wasting money, wasting time, being an embarrassment to the people that I respect. I got to a point where I decided I would rather test this out and see if it's for me and fail than to never know, because I was worried that I would be, 70 years old, wondering what would have happened if I had decided to get into tech. Irena, so can you share a little, did you have similar thoughts, similar fears?
Yeah, I had pretty similar fears. I was afraid that I'm not good enough, or that maybe I'm not smart enough to try this out. Yeah, or that maybe, indeed wasting my time and money. With the boot camp. But yeah, I think we all go through this kind of experience, especially as a woman, because for example, in my home country, most of the programmers are male, and then there are also some stereotypes exist about women in tech, so that was a bit discouraging as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Elena, did you have any fears, or were you like, let's do this?
Moreover, I was just so excited.
Yeah.
Okay, I failed. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna just have fun, learn a lot. That's because I just wanted to learn. And what happens, happens.
That's the right attitude, for sure. Tao, were you scared of failure? Were you scared it wasn't going to work out? Maybe you weren't smart enough? How did you handle it?
I think, yeah, when I have fear, I think I just do something to improve myself, like do something, like to a little change to make me feel better. I think my most biggest fear is I cannot I can't find a job after the boot camp.
Yeah.
Because I already did at that time I already did a boot camp full stack course online. I already started with Barcelona Activa. I think I don't know other people know this. It's a government organization to help people to find jobs. So they also offer some course. I attended that course too. So I was afraid after the boot camp it's not enough to find a job for me. Yeah.
All very common things. Okay, so now we've tackled our fears, we've decided that we want to go for it. Then the question becomes, how do you do it, right? Maybe some of us have been learning on our own. There's a lot of great free resources out there. There's YouTube. And we reached a plateau. We just weren't excelling in the way that we want, or we were questioning whether or not we were doing things the correct way and really wanted to know best practices. So I don't have time to do 4 years to study computer science. So let's go with the boot camp, right? There's a lot of great boot camps out there in the world. It's not necessarily easy to decide which one. So Elena, how did you decide?
Oh man, it was so easy. First of all, I wanted in present, like I wanted to go there because online I know myself that it would be difficult to concentrate such. It's demanding. It's a lot of hours and a lot of days. So I searched in Barcelona, and first pages that I looked, they were horrible. And I was like, how are you gonna teach me how to code if your page is bad? So I went through some pages and I found CodeOp. I was like, damn, this is cool. I loved everything that was there. I saw some YouTube videos and that was it for me. It was pretty easy.
Olivia, you had heard about it through a friend, which is nice. But still, did you do any due diligence? Did you check out other boot camps, or were you just sort of set, given that your friends had done it and had a good experience?
To be honest, I was pretty set. Having two friends that having already gone through the boot camp and it being kind of local here in Spain, that was kind of it for me. And I kind of looked around at other boot camps, but I wasn't really convinced. I was pretty. I had already made up my mind.
Okay, listen. I have some other speakers have said different things, so I'm going to give the audience some different metrics to use that I think are important. If I was deciding to do a boot camp, but before I get there, Tao, how did you decide which boot camp to attend?
For me, it was easier because I already having the CodeOps workshop. I think before the CodeOps workshop, I also went to Ironhack. It's another book. It's another code school in Barcelona. I already had the experience. I already checked some boot camp. Then I feel in CodeOp have a really like a friendly, very nice environment to study. Really, the classmates really help each other. The teacher also. So it's for me it's easier because I already know. I already did my study about boot camps in Barcelona.
All right, so for folks where it's not so obvious yet, here's what I would recommend in my experience. Certainly reach out, and many of our students have done this. Go to LinkedIn, go to the boot camp, you can see the list of students and start talking to them about their experience. No, that's one way to do it. Certainly, do your due diligence. Go on the public review sites like Switchboard and Course Report. These are important. Also, see if you can audit a class. And there you'll really get a sense of what it will be like to study with that particular boot camp. Even better, find out who's going to be your lead instructor. An instructor can make or break an educational experience. And so find out who your instructor is. Is it someone that just graduated from a boot camp? Or is it someone that has been doing full stack engineering for over 15 years? What kind of educational support are they going to provide you? These are the kinds of questions that matter, in my opinion. Yeah. Okay. So we've all decided, okay, tech is for us. We're going to bite the bullet. We're going to do a boot camp. Let's talk about your experience during the boot camp. Who is the most recent grad? So Irina, you did the part-time course, correct? Okay, so you're working full-time and you're studying part-time. Can you give us a sense of like a typical day for you?
Yeah, so I had the boot camp twice a week, Mondays and Thursdays in the evenings, if I remember it correctly. And yeah, well, I had a full-time job at that time, so I would come back home pretty tired, but I was still excited for the boot camp. I was just excited to learn new things and learn more about the web development. So yeah, even though I was pretty tired coming back after work, I think it still went quite interesting. Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah,
you turn on your camera and basically it's a live course, and the teacher is lecturing, you have activities, you're able to do things like, there's this assumption, right? And Elena, you said you didn't want to do a remote boot camp. Were you worried about doing the course remotely, Irina? Were you worried that you wouldn't be able to build relationships or really connect, or the knowledge wouldn't be transferred? Tell us a little bit about.
To be honest, I wasn't worried because before that, I spent almost 2 years working remotely because of the COVID lockdown. So I was pretty used to that. And yeah, actually, I think for me, it was better to have a remote option than an on-site. So that was also an important, an important thing in choosing the bootcamp.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, Elena, you said no way on remote. I know I need to be in person. So tell us a little bit about like what does a typical day look like at a full-time 11-week boot camp?
Yeah, so we come into the class, we get our coffee, tea, we set everything, the computer, Dao knows it because we were in the same cohort, and we get started with class. I don't think I remember the order of the class, mostly because it was like a year ago. So we do class, we do our little projects. Our teacher shows us, we try it. I loved this part because you see it and you try it. It's always like try, because with studies like in school you study and then you vomit it in the exam, but here no, everything is practice, and that's how my brain works. I like to practice it.
What was the dynamic like? We know Dao was one of your peers. Can you say anything about the learning environment?
It was amazing. Our teacher helped us a lot. We had past students that were also helping us if we had some questions in class or something was not working. So it was pretty easy.
Cool. Olivia, you did the part-time course. Was it? Yeah. How was the remote experience for you? You're an educator, so I imagine that you take learning environments and pedagogy really seriously. Can you shed a little light on how it was for you?
Yeah, I did the part-time in the morning. and because I worked in the afternoons. And to be honest, I wasn't too nervous about learning remotely. After investing so much time and money into the course, I knew I was going to be reliable. So for me, that wasn't a problem. And yeah, that was just, my experience.
Were there any, was it reflecting on studying at a boot camp, was it what you expected, or did it surprise you in some ways?
For me, I really liked the camaraderie with my peers and my instructor. That was something I wasn't expecting, especially being remote. But I'm still in contact with my peers, and we have a WhatsApp group, and yeah, it's just something that I took away that was really special.
Nice. Tao, the bootcamp experience, was it what you were expecting? Were there any surprises?
I think the thing is very surprised me. It was we can work with the online team. We had, I don't know if now the online and the presential student they have course together or no?
Right,
But
so it's a hybrid.
Yeah.
It's a hybrid course, right? So some people are in person and some people are joining remotely.
Yeah, for me, that part, it was surprised me. I never expected that part. And actually now, I worked like this. I worked with people. Yeah, I have 100% remote job now. So I work with my colleague like I was studying in CodeOp.
Yes,
so
exactly.
For me,
good preparation.
Yeah, and I remember we have a classmate, Cici. Yeah, she woke up at 3 a.m. and she slept at 7 p.m.
Yeah. We have these stories, huh? Tao, was there ever a moment where you didn't think you were going to make it in the boot camp? I mean, we're painting a rosy picture here, folks, and let's be real. No, the boot camp is it's a lot to learn in a short amount of time. For the part-time, for the full-time, it's the same curriculum. So from a full-time perspective, it's a lot of information to digest. You're staring at the computer all day, right? It's 11 weeks. Your brain hurts. For the part-time people, you're working a job. You're full-time working typically, and then in the evening or the morning, you're studying over 6 months period. This is a really full schedule. So it's daunting. It's hard to learn. Was there ever a moment, Tao, where you felt like you couldn't make it?
Oh, actually, I need this at that moment because I already did some course by myself. Yeah, I need something, some result come fast. Yeah, like 3 months. Yeah, after 3 months, I need to find a job. I need a big change in a very short time. At that moment, I need this actually.
Okay.
I need to push myself to do this actually. Yeah, I like to. I love to do this, but yeah, I need it at that moment.
Okay. Elena, any moments where you didn't think you could get through that maybe you shedded a couple tears?
Definitely. There is a point in the course that we all were stressed because something was not working in a project. And I just remember us eating lunch like this. We cannot do this. This is so hard. But then next day, everything is great. Everyone gets to this moment.
Yeah. So in the 11-week program, so actually in also the part-time program, I think learning full stack engineering, it's a cumulative knowledge, right? So knowledge builds on itself. So we start with the foundations, ground zero, and maybe some of this stuff is familiar. Maybe you've studied it in the past. By week 2, things start ramping up. People start feeling the tension. Even if you had studied a bit in the past, at this point, you're maybe starting to sweat, you're feeling it. Then 3rd weeks, this is where you start manipulating the DOM. And here, okay, things are ramping up. 4th week is front-end frameworks. 5th week is back-end. 4th and 5th week is where we call it breakdown city. Typically, people are crying at this point, and it's like the culmination of all our theory. It's a lot. You're banging your head. You feel like you're not learning anything. It's overwhelming, right? And then you get into project phase and you build your first project and you're like, oh my gosh, I learned something, right? You have the proof in front of you. And then you do a second project and it's a little bit faster. You cut down the time on developing an app. And then you do a 3rd project and you think you're going to build the next meta because you're working with 2 other people. But in fact, you're just learning how to communicate with others and, work through dramas. And so it's this ebb and flow. And I imagine that is something that continues as you're working as an engineer, but we'll talk about that later. Olivia, just want to finish with you. Was there ever a time where so you're an educator, you're really familiar with the learning process. So I imagine you have that perspective when you are learning. Were there still any moments where you felt like you couldn't do it?
Oh yeah, all the time. Like every single day. I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it. And it had been so long since I had been a student. So adding that in there and learning something that is just so different than anything I've ever done. And yeah, like emotionally, it was very challenging.
Okay, let's talk. This question came up. So Vanessa, I'm going to answer your question, but since we're on the topic, Avery just brought this up. What were some of your strategies to decompress from the boot camp, to be kind to yourself? Let's get some good strategies here. Elena, when you were overwhelmed, when you felt like you couldn't learn anymore, what helped?
Yeah, I think just taking a walk in the park or in the forest would help. Or like our instructor Sophia would always tell us that after the what was it called? After like the small project that we had, like a small exam, then go and buy yourself ice cream. So,
Ice cream.
Just treat yourself, for all the like hard work you've done.
Yeah. Great. I sometimes I tell the students, cease and desist, look away from the computer. Tal, what were some of your methods that helped you stay motivated and helped with those darker moments?
Usually, I went to some workshops, take workshops in Barcelona to get know more people already working in this industry, know their experience. So I know it's normal what we were experiencing. So yeah. And they always will encouraging you. You can do it. Never mind, you can do it.
I think that's smart to talk to people that have been through it, because they can basically, then you're not alone and they normalize the process, right? Elena, any good strategies to share?
Chocolate. But also stop looking at the computer if something is not working. If you have a bug, you cannot see it, just stop. Just go for a walk. Take a look, take a coffee, take a tea, relax. And when you have a fresh brain, just come and just, you'll see it, or bring another person. That helps.
For sure. No, sometimes, you've been staring at the computer and something's not working, you can't figure it out, and it's just impossible. You go to bed the next morning and you're like, it's so obvious to me, why didn't I see this, right? So rest are very important. Yeah.
Also, you may dream of the solution. Just saying. It happens in the bootcamp.
You think you dream of the solution, but is it? It works in your dream state. It all makes sense. And then does that solution actually work in real time? I remember dreaming about solutions in the past in data science. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So one of the questions were how many hours a week did you work on bootcamp material outside of the class time? So let's ask both full-timers and part-timers. Elena, so after 9 to 6, I know there were some codeaholics who would go home and also study more. Was this you? Were you studying on the weekends or in the evenings after the bootcamp? No,
No.
bravo.
No,
Good
no.
job. Okay, I'm happy to hear that.
I was relaxing.
Very good. Tao, were you studying in the evenings or on the weekend?
No, I would like to, but no. Really,
Okay.
I
Okay.
cannot believe it because every time I say, okay, this week I will review what I learned from the co-op in the co-op, but finally I did nothing during the weekend after the class.
All right. Okay. Maybe more relevant for part-timers because it's a shorter amount of time in class and you're given the activities. Olivia, Irena, on average, let's start with you, Olivia. How much time did you allocate to studying outside of class?
So because the classes were Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I would take Tuesday and Thursday mornings when there wasn't class to review, to do some exercises. And then on the weekend, I would try to set aside one day where, realistically, it was probably just like one morning or one afternoon where I would review practice.
Yeah. So maybe like 6 hours, 5 to 6 hours extra altogether outside of class time. Yeah. Irena?
Yeah, I spent a few hours a week for the self-study, maybe 5-6 hours. So maybe like an hour per day, but yeah. It was quite fun actually. Sometimes I would say, oh yeah, I'm studying for fun, and people would look weirdly at me like, what's wrong with her?
Yeah, I think I mean there's a bit of variability here. We have some people who they sign up for the part-time course and then maybe they're laid off from their job and so they just fill up their agenda with studying. But I'd say on average it's around 5 to 10 hours a week. Cool. Do you need to know Spanish to study in Barcelona? At CodeOp, no. Our courses are in English, and I know that holds true for other boot camps here. Barcelona is a really international space. Yeah. Okay. What were the main ingredients that made you successful in the boot camp? I have an opinion on this, but I'm gonna let Elena start with her ingredients first.
The sentence "keep calm."
Keep calm.
That helped a lot. I just thought it all the time. Okay, this is not working. Keep calm. The class is going. Oh no, I don't get it, but then you get it. It's fine.
Yeah. Keep calm and eat chocolate. Okay, Tao, what do you think are the ingredients that make you successful?
I think the spirit of never give up. Never give up. You should
tenacity.
Try different ways to solve the problem. Yeah.
Olivia?
Patience. And yeah, tenacity for sure.
Irena, an ingredient to add?
Yeah, I think it would be the genuine interest in the IT technologies and in development. So if you truly enjoy doing this, I think if you're passionate about it, yeah, that helps a lot.
100%. Okay, so the ingredients: tenacity, keep calmness, patience, and don't forget to enjoy it. 100% agree with these things. Actually, just before this, I was on a panel discussion with a bunch of the audience were social entrepreneurs, and they were thinking about launching their new social ventures. And I was asked on the panel if I had any advice. There's a lot of parallels between starting a company and also doing a boot camp, but that's another webinar. But what I said to them, it was the best advice I had ever gotten, was to have fun, because you work your ass off. You make a lot of sacrifices. There's a steep learning curve. It's exhausting. If you're not having fun, for sure, it's not worth it. Life is too short. And I think the same holds true with doing a boot camp. By definition, it's an intense experience. So if you can have fun with it, you know that you've played around on Code Academy and you had fun with it, then I think you have the right ingredients. It's true that we've had like students in the past that maybe did a computer science degree 20 years ago, 10 years ago, and they do the boot camp and they don't necessarily have a better experience or do better or the first to get a job than the person that had no coding experience, was a baker before, but really authentically loved coding. And so they were able to have a good time in the boot camp. And that is what really set them up for success. And so there's like a million different reasons why to get stressed out in a boot camp. My advice to you all is have fun, enjoy. Life is too short to not enjoy. Yeah. That's easy to say. There's still a lot of fears. Like, I need to get a job so I can pay my bills, and I want to acknowledge that. And we're going to transition now into the third part, which is post bootcamp realities, right? So often it's the case. I say this a lot. No, just because I've been speaking to people wanting to transition to tech for 6 years now, and I was one of them. First, you have this fear and anxiety about transitioning to tech. Can I do it? Do I have the mental capacity to do it? So then you decide to apply to a graduate program or a boot camp, and you're accepted. Like, wow, they accepted me. They believe in me. Great. Now I have to do the boot camp. Can I do the boot camp? Can I actually graduate from this program? So you're stressed about that. Then time passes and you say, oh, I'm doing it. Cool, great. And you're feeling a little confident. Then you graduate from the boot camp or the master's program, and you're like, shit, now I need to find a job. People actually need to pay me to do this. Can I do it? And it just goes on. Again, there's a lot of reasons to fear this. And I think that it's reasonable. No, it's not. I'll be the first person to say it's not easy to change industry and function. No one's going to pass you a job. No one's going to do the boot camp for you. You have to put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into it. The point is that it can be done, and certainly it can be worth it. It's been worth it for many. So let's talk about post bootcamp realities. So first, just let's start with Olivia. So when did you graduate from the boot camp? And when did you start applying for work? Tell me a little bit about your job search strategy, this whole phase post boot camp. What was it like?
So I graduated in June of this year. And I had already started sending out applications while I was still in the boot camp. Just, you know, you never know. I had continued the search for at least, I want to say 2 months before I landed my current job now. And my strategy, I definitely refined my CV and took a lot of the tips from the workshop that's at the end of the course. That was huge in kind of like gearing my job search.
And what is your current title?
I'm a technical writer.
You're a technical writer. Okay, cool. All right. So you graduated in June. You had updated your CV. How many jobs did you apply to?
Over 200.
Yeah. And out of that 200, how many interviews with different companies did you have?
I had one interview, and it didn't go past HR. And then the interview with the
okay.
For now.
Oh, that's a hell of a conversion right there. So out of the 200 applications that you sent in, you had 2 interviews and then 1 converted to a job offer, and you're currently now a technical writer. Awesome. Thanks for sharing your story. Congratulations, Olivia. And Elena, let's hear about your process.
I think I finished the bootcamp in December. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I started applying when we started doing your workshop, which was amazing. I loved it so much. And all the workshops of that week, they helped like tremendously. I applied till the end of December, and then I was like, okay, I need to work on my CV better. So I did that, and from January, I applied in January to so many, to like 50 a day. I was going like that was my full-time job, applying to jobs. And I think I did like 30 interviews. They were so many.
30 interviews. Wow. What jobs were you applying for? What kind of job? What were the job titles?
Junior front end, junior back end, full stack developer, junior full stack developer, everything that I could find that more or less had my technologies that I learned.
Yeah.
I applied.
Yeah. And if you saw a job description that said 3 years of experience, would you still apply?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, cool. Okay, so you had the quantitative approach similar to Olivia. Congratulations. Actually, I'm gonna dote. So Elena recently went viral. She was doing the digital nomad thing in Bali. And then some influencer was asking folks about digital nomad life. And so the first person that they spoke to was Elena. I'm gonna share it. Sorry, I'm embarrassing you. Here's the video. You can watch it another time. I just shared it in the chat. But super cool, Elena. You've inspired many. Tao. So you graduated from the boot camp where you're like, woohoo, let's go look for jobs. Tell me a little bit about your process.
No, actually, after the bootcamp, I didn't go directly to look for a job. Because it was in December, so I was thinking about the Christmas thing. Yeah, I think, oh, I will find it. But when I really start to apply the jobs, I found out it's not that easy, because I had a work experience, and when I was doing my master, I got many offers to. So I didn't feel it's that difficult to get interviews, you know. But later in June, when I started January, I started to apply the jobs. I found out, oh no, it's not that easy. But then I start to apply a lot of jobs every day, yeah. And I did my CV. Later, I did my portfolio. Yeah, I think after I have done my portfolio, I started to get more interviews.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
then,
so you got
wait, yeah.
You got so it was June you got the job. When did you get the job? So you graduated in December. You started really applying in January.
I got a job in March, I think. Yeah, finally. Like I did a lot of interviews, and then finally I got my job. In March. Yeah.
Okay, so about 4 months. And your current job is?
Oh no, in March, January, February. Yeah.
What's the title of your job?
Now it's a junior front-end developer. Yeah.
Okay, junior front-end developer. And sorry, Elena, I forgot to ask you, what is your title?
Full stack developer.
Full stack developer. Okay. And those are full-time permanent jobs, or are they temporary? Full-time permanent. Okay. Cool. Irena, tell us a little. So, are you still in the boot camp? Sorry for this. No, you graduated the boot camp, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
in August. Yeah, I graduated in August this
You
year.
graduated. Okay.
Yeah.
How did your job search strategy go?
Yeah, I started applying for jobs, I think 3 months before the boot camp would end.
Wow.
So yeah, I was quite early, and then I started applying for jobs on LinkedIn. I refined my CV. I had a talk with our career coach. Yeah, so, and she actually recommended me, Anne-Marie, she recommended me to go to a local job fair. So yeah, that was her suggestion. I found one. And then, yeah, there I just approached all the IT companies. I gave them my CV, and in my CV, I also included the links to either the GitHub repositories with all the projects that we built during the bootcamp, or that I built myself during my free time, or the videos on Loom that I've recorded with like showing my web applications. And yeah, I was contacted by all of the companies that I approached on the job fair, and then yeah, I got the job even before I graduated the bootcamp. So I honestly didn't expect that. Yeah.
And what's your current job?
It's a software engineer at CGI.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
so actually now I'm not doing the web development. I'm doing C# and Azure.
Wow.
So yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
So here are 4 stories. Not every story is the same. And for some folks, it takes longer. No, sometimes it can take a year. It can take some time. So there's different factors involved. And so certainly I think you would always say it wasn't an easy process. It's never easy, you know, getting a no or being ghosted, especially when you feel the pressure of needing to pay bills. Savings are going under. You start doubting whether or not it's right for you. Any tips for the audience, you know, if they're currently in this situation, or they fear this situation, when you were getting these rejection letters, what helped, Olivia?
Well, you get used to it after a while. But I would say, obviously not to take it personally. And they're looking for a certain profile, and yours isn't it. And so I think that's my biggest advice, is just to keep going, because you will find something, but you're not going to find something if you don't keep throwing your CV out there.
Totally. Elena, rejection after rejection, how did you cope with it?
Well, I think it like that. The more no's you get, the closer you get to a yes.
Nice. Very good. Very good. Tao, were you ever thinking, fuck, maybe it's not going to happen? Maybe I should look for something else? Or were you determined?
Sorry, what?
Was there ever a moment when you were getting those rejections that you feared that maybe you wouldn't get a job and all this would have been wasted? How did you handle that?
Okay, this company is not for me. I will get something better. Yeah, something better will come. Yeah.
That's also my Tinder strategy in the past. See, this is very positive and optimistic. No, if something didn't work, fine. One door closes, one door opens. And I think this is important. We have seen with our students, there's no one size fits all approach to finding your first job in tech. We've seen students do it in different ways. Some folks have this sort of quantitative approach where they just shoot out 50 applications a day. And then we've had some students that really curate the process. And so they're really looking for companies that are within the industry that they worked previously. They're actually spending time following people, writing them an authentic message on LinkedIn, and that has worked. Both have worked. What I would recommend is do both. In fact, have a quantitative approach as well as a qualitative approach. And certainly networking is important. Always do random walks and talk to people, so you can tap into different networks. You never know what network is going to be. That one person you meet is going to be the tipping point who's going to push your CV through, or maybe they're hiring, etc. Okay. Let's talk about what the actual interview process was like. I feel like tech is notorious for generating a lot of fear around the interview process because you have the technical challenge. Elena, what was the job? What was the hiring process like?
Scary. That was so scary. I mean, the first 30 interviews were hell for me. I was so nervous. I babbled. Like some interviews, I said some stuff that I think they looked at me like, "Girl, what'd you say?" I'm like, oh, "Sorry, I'm nervous." But then it was fine. Then you just get your speech in line, and you're like, "This is what I am. This is what I've done. I think I'm a great fit for you." And they actually like are okay with this. They listen up and they're like, "Yeah, go for it." You
Okay.
get used to it.
So you have an HR screen. And then once they're like, okay, 20-minute conversation, they feel like maybe you can do this job, you have some good communication skills, then what happens next?
Then or they put you to the second call. The second call is usually with a tech person in the company that does or a tech interview or talks more in depth with your past, about your past.
Yeah. Do you recall what kind of questions they're asking you or what the technical challenge was like?
I didn't do many technical challenges. I think in all of my job search, I did like two or three. And some were easy, some were just crazy. They asked me to do like a web page in a week, a full web page. And I was like, what are you hiring me for? I'm junior.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was difficult. Some were difficult, some were easy. And
What would an easy one be like?
oh, the job that I got, well, now that I'm working in full stack, I did one of them, and they were put a text and make a randomizer that changes colors and typography.
That was
And
easy.
I did.
I would prefer to build a web page.
And I did it like very creatively, and they liked it. So
Okay. Brava. Olivia, so you're doing technical writing. So I should say, our students come from different backgrounds. They all study full stack engineering, and not all of them go on to become full stack engineers. There's a lot of different ways you can use the education. So I have this list here I was just going to share with you. Every 6 months and every 2 years, we collect data from our students, our graduates. And one of the questions we ask is, what is your job title? So we have full stack developer, DevOps engineer, junior Android developer, junior backend developer, iOS developer, QA tester, UX designer, front-end engineer, founder, product owner, technology analyst, junior web developer, software engineer, chat strategist, design ops, data analyst, data transition specialist, business analyst, associate technician, coding mentor, technical designer, technical solutions engineer, junior React developer, research analyst, Salesforce developer, web developer, technical writer, technical recruiter. So you can go in many different directions. Olivia, you decided to go into the technical writing. I think this is a super interesting field. I really like it. Did you have a technical challenge?
No, I didn't have a technical challenge. No. I met with HR. The next round was with some senior writers on the team, and then the next round was with the manager and the director.
Okay. Cool. Irena, what was your hiring process like?
Yeah, sometimes I had a positive experience, sometimes not. So yeah, one time they contacted me after applying for a job, and then they found out that I don't speak fluent Dutch, and then they said, okay, you're not what we're looking for, and they hung up. I was like, okay. Yeah, and then yeah, the interview for my current position, it went quite well, I would say. I had, but it was quite a long process with an interview with 4 people, with the vice president of our unit, so that was quite scary. And then I've had a very small technical challenge, which was basically to write a function to about the Carbonen target heart rate. So yeah, well, they just gave me the instructions. I tried to do it, and they also said that it's not important to come up with the solution right away, but they just wanted to see how my like what's the thought process of me trying to solve it. So
Yeah. So you had to do it in real time. They were watching. So they said, okay, do this, and you had to do it in real time. Could you use Google, for example?
no.
No. Okay. Okay, cool. Tal, what was your hiring process like?
I had quite different interview experience. Some of them they call you the first it's a phone call, but some of them it's the first is directly they give you co-challenge meeting. For example, booking.com, they directly ask you if you could do technique
Sorry,
if
Tal,
you
you're
say yes, they will send you the link. And yes,
oh, sorry, it was going in and out.
can you hear me? No?
Yeah, there's a delay. So I'll just keep that in mind. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, they give you the first some company first first email or call. They already give you the normally it's an email. They give you the code challenge. They ask you, could you do a technical code challenge? Then some of company they will the HR will call you first, then to say if you are a suitable person to work in their company. And actually, I prefer the first one because finally, it's you should you need you work as a developer. You need to do the code things. Yeah. So, but many companies in Spain, they just call you if the HR doesn't like you, they will not give you the next interview to do the code challenge. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. We have some questions that are accumulating, so let's put some attention to it. Right. Okay. Is the bootcamp future-proof? Considering the changes in AI. So, technical writers, full stack engineers here, are you worried that your job is going to be obsolete in 1, 2 years or 5 years? No, you're not worried about it. Everyone is no, resounding no. Irina, why are you not worried about it?
I think the AI technologies exist to assist us, not to replace developers. So that's what they actually say at my work as well. So they've been implementing AI just to assist the developers. So yeah, that's why I'm not worried about it. Actually, for one of my projects, just the one I did on my free time, I used ChatGPT API, and I think that also helped a lot with searching for a job, just to show them that you can work with those technologies.
Totally agree with you. Elena?
Totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was great.
I talked to our senior full stack engineer, Germinal, one of our instructors, if he was worried about this. And he, there's been different tools that have come out. Obviously, ChatGPT is an incredible technology. And for him, he said, I have Stack Overflow. I've been asking questions and copying and pasting code for decades. And so to do that, you still need to understand code. And so he certainly doesn't feel threatened by it. So I would be reserved with buying into the hyperbole of technology. I mean, technology, there's always so much hyperbole about it changing the world. It's not to say that I don't think technology changes the world, but Google Glasses, the virtual reality, there's always something hot coming out, and it's cool that it opens up the industry in nice ways. But in the end, we're still here, and technology will not solve all of our problems at this point. And so I think I wouldn't be worried about it, at least at this point. Olivia, from a technical writing perspective, first, someone asked, what does your job consist of as a technical writer? What is it? And then two, are you worried about your job being taken by ChatGPT, for example, or any future AI tool?
So to answer the first question, technical writer, technical writers write the documentation for software for the clients or the users who use the software. And am I worried about AI? No, I would agree with what Irene said. We have AI that assists us in our writing. So I think it's a tool, a good tool right now.
Yeah. What were your CVs and portfolios looking like? Do you think it played a big factor in your hiring process? So thumbs up, thumbs down if you think your portfolio and CV really mattered in this process. Oh, yeah. Tao, do you think your portfolio? Okay. And there was another question about CVs. How did you write your CV to cater to tech? This is a super question. No? How do you write a CV that caters to tech without having any technical experience? Was the bootcamp enough as an experience? So Elena, you said that you loved the workshop. Tell us a little bit about your CV.
It was
updating your CV experience.
Oh, I loved it so much. We wrote great CVs. The thing we did in Bootcamp definitely helped it because we had projects that we could show and talk about and different technologies that we worked with. So you just put all of that in your CV and put it nicely, and that's it.
Yeah. I do the CV workshop for students because I'm a CV nerd. And there's definitely some strategies to take into account. And one of those strategies, if you don't come from tech, is translating your previous work experience in a way that resonates with the industry. So that can be the sort of nomenclature you use, the language you use to, it's not just about, so what someone gets from a CV is not just whether or not you have experience working in tech. They see you graduated from a bootcamp, so they don't expect you to have a CV that has a lot of tech experience. What they can gather from a CV is what you're like as a person, where your interests lie, what your accomplishments are, how you work with a team. All of that communicates what kind of employee you're going to be. And so there's strategic ways to do this. Often I see, because our students tend to be, like I mentioned, the average age is 32. Sometimes it's the case that, they totally undermine their life's career work before the boot camp to just make themselves look like, a junior tech person. And this is a big mistake, in my opinion, because an employer is hiring a bootcamp graduate with the expectation that you're not the 23-year-old who's graduating with a computer science degree that never had a job. They're hiring the bootcamp student because they know that you have different skills that you've been cultivating in past careers that are going to be complementary to your future role. This is what matters. And so you never want to undermine your life's work. Basically, the strategy here is to add this technical layer. So you're all that, and React and Vue. And so these are some of the kind of things that we work on. So manage your expectations. No one's expecting you to be a computer scientist or a developer with 10 years of experience. They know what they're getting their hands on, and they're committed to training you. And this is it. Was getting into the workplace seamless for you? Did you find? So let's talk about Irena. So you got the job, you did the interview, and you start working as a developer. Can you tell us a little bit about your onboarding experience?
Yeah, for my position, I had to do the 2 months course in software engineering. This is what they do for all of the junior positions. So, and I wouldn't say it was seamless because when on my first day, we had to introduce ourselves, and there were all the graduates of computer science, of software engineering degrees who studied it at the universities. And yeah, I really felt like I might not fit in, but well, I just try to drive away those thoughts and just focus on learning. But yeah, it can happen that some people have more experience than you. Yeah, so.
And you're feeling all right now? You feel supported?
Well, yeah, I think I do. Yeah, especially from I was assigned to a project, so then the senior developer really helps me a lot with learning C#. Yeah.
Nice, thanks. Tao, what was your onboarding experience like?
It was very fast. Actually, this now the company I work is my second company in this industry. The first one was they give me they give us the onboarding training only in 3 days, I think. And the framework, I never saw that framework. It's called, now I forgot the name. It's not a Vue.js, either the React. It's another one. Like I think a few companies using that, and the backend they are using C#. I never studied either, so it was very fast for me. They also explained us the company cultures, Yeah, so 3 days, then we started to do project.
Yeah, yeah. I think, tech is notorious for not necessarily being the most welcoming space. I think that there's a lot of work and intention into changing that right now. Elena, for you, how was it transitioning into your company? Have you felt supported? Have there been any issues? How did you troubleshoot it, etc.?
No, it was fine. I had a week of onboarding and with the senior developer, and he just showed me everything, where it goes, what page is what, and what to do where. And I just wrote everything down. Everything was chill, everything no pressure, and I could ask anything to him. He's still really open to just helping me and teaching me. So I'm still really happy.
Okay, cool. Let's look at some of the other questions here. How did you all find your job? So, Irene, you said a local job fair. Olivia, as a technical writer, where did you find the gig?
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Elena?
Also LinkedIn.
Me
How?
too. Me too.
LinkedIn. Yeah, no, yeah. Powerful tool. Another question, how to stand out when you're 31 and have no experience in it. So any advice on the question of how to stand out when you're 31 and you have no experience in the field? I think we kind of touched upon this, right? And we talked about how there are plenty of people doing this, and they're doing it because even though you don't have experience in tech, you have other relevant experience that they see as valuable. How do you stand out? And this comes about if you add that technical layer to your professional background, then this is part of the strategy, right? And how do you brand yourself? How do you tell the story that got you to where you are? Listen, it's not that common for people to decide to change industry and function later in their 30s, 40s, or 50s. So already you're going to stand out. And so it's more about having faith in what you're doing and then finding a way to communicate that. That's my opinion. Does anyone want to add something to that? No? Okay.
That was perfect.
So when a company gave you a rejection, when all those companies gave you rejections, did you ever feel compelled to write them and say, hey, any feedback? And if they gave you feedback, what did they say? No, you never asked for feedback. Some of our students have done it, huh? Irina, did you ever get a rejection and then ask for feedback after?
Yeah, I did actually, and yeah, the woman from the HR was very nice to provide feedback. So yeah, she even
Really?
offered to have another call with me, but she never called me. But I think it's the thought that matters.
The intention was there. That's nice. I think it's fair game to do this. No, when people have applied to CodeOp, sometimes we're asked, and I think it's not that common, and so people will give the time if it comes up to support folks, and I hope that's your experience. What is the difference between a full stack developer and a software developer? Who wants to take the question?
Yeah,
Did I
I
not?
can try. Because yeah, my current title is the software engineer. So I think the biggest difference between the developer and the software engineer is that as the latter, you need to apply the principles of software engineering in your work. So that means you have to design the code before actually starting to code to program. So and then that's the first part, the design of the code. The second part is working in agile teams. So there are like two approaches of working within the software engineering team. It's agile and waterfall. I know it all sounds quite vague, but yeah, that's also what you need to know and what we were taught as well during our the 2 month course that I did for my work. And the third part is testing and maintaining the code. So I think, yeah, to release the production code, we need to test it quite thoroughly because we're either going to sell it or we're doing it for a client who's paying a lot of money for that software. So,
Thanks,
yeah,
Elena. Okay, so that's what you're doing as a software engineer. Elena, how does that differ from what you're doing as a full stack engineer?
I'm just adapting code that is already there.
Yeah. Okay. And Tao, you're doing front end development. So how does it differ?
The difference. Actually, I don't know the difference about the engineer and the developer. I think I feel like the engineer more close to science. Yeah, like Elena said, more design the code and to know from the fundamental, then
But
to build the
but you're doing front end development. So what can you give us a sample of what you're doing as a front end developer?
Ah, okay. Actually, most of the time I'm doing like the page, what you say in the web page, the button, yeah, the button change to big and the how to say the events and also the events, yeah, the user doing like a click, yeah, like cancel, yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. We're out of time. I just want to end with one last question. Well, actually, it's to encourage you to just, if you have any advice for our listeners, we have some sense of who they are, how long they've been thinking about getting into tech. Some of them are trying to do it. If you had one piece of advice, what would it be? Olivia, let's start with you.
I think I'd say to have confidence in yourself, and not only to make it through the boot camp, but also to find the job and to feel like you belong there. And yeah.
Be confident, folks. Elena, what's your advice?
Number one advice would be don't be scared. Everyone goes through it and survives, and everyone gets the job and survives. Just go for it, have fun while you're doing it, learn a lot, and you'll get there. Everyone gets there.
Cool. Irena, any advice?
Yeah, I'd say just go for your dreams. If
Hmm.
you're like dreaming about becoming a developer, then you should definitely pursue it. Yeah.
Tao?
Love what you are doing and never give up.
Cool. Thanks, everyone. I guess so. First, I want to forewarn you because I've been doing this event every quarter for 5 years. And every time we have people in the audience who decided to do the boot camp to transition into tech. And then they end up being on this panel 1 year from now. So I hope to see some of your names on this panel next year. Certainly find us on LinkedIn, connect. It's not easy to do this on your own, and you don't need to do it on your own. So start meeting people and talking to people. And I guess my advice for you as someone who so I started a company. This was never on my bucket list to start a coding school for women, trans, and non-binary people. I don't have an MBA. I decided to transition to tech. I studied data science. I was working as a data scientist. And then I launched this company, became venture backed. This whole new world opened up to me because I decided to get into tech. And so if you're thinking about it, it doesn't mean that you're committed to being a full stack engineer for the rest of your life. This can just be another stepping stone in a longer journey. And so, if, for example, you did the boot camp, you're trying to get that first job as full stack engineering and it hasn't happened, maybe try pivoting a little bit, stay close to the technology and something new will open up, like starting your own company. Anyways, like I said, my bias is clear. Get into tech. I don't care if you do it with CodeOp, do it with whomever. Find out if you like it or not. See how fun it is. We have free coding workshops. Actually, I think, sorry, my team's going to be so mad at me. I think we have a free coding workshop tomorrow. But you can go on our website. We have a free coding workshop. You should definitely attend that. And here you can also meet more of the community. We have different events happening, so please stick around. Thanks to our guest speakers for being there. I appreciate it. And good luck to you all. Take care. Ciao. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.